As president, I've seen the devastating toll of climate firsthand. The Environmental Protection Agency will invest $7 billion from our Inflation Reduction Act. We're recruiting for over 2,000 positions in 36 states. You'll get paid to fight climate change, learning how to install those solar panels, fight wildfires, rebuild wetlands, weatherize homes. Despite the overwhelming devastation in red and blue states, there's still those who deny climate is in crisis. My MAGA Republican friends don't seem to think it's in crisis.
President Biden celebrating Earth Day yesterday, announcing new climate actions, including $7 billion in federal solar power grants for low-income communities. Biden also took a shot at so-called MAGA Republicans, accusing them of denying climate change. Joining me now is Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter, a member of the House Budget and Energy and Commerce Committees. Congressman, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. Your reaction to the president yesterday?
Well, you know, he just doesn't get it, Maria. I mean, look, we all want to protect our environment, Republicans as well as Democrats, but you can't do it through regulation, and that's what this president doesn't understand. It needs to be through innovation. Look, when the government picks winners and losers, consumers lose. It needs to be market-driven. We need to encourage innovation. We've done that in the state of Georgia. If you look and you see with the success that we've had in bringing businesses and attracting businesses to our state, it's because we built a regulatory environment here that is conducive to businesses coming into our state. That's why we've been the #1 state to do business in for the last 11 years. It needs to be through innovation, not regulation. You know, last year, Maria, I went to Houston, Texas 3 times. Every time I went there, it was the same message: regulations, permitting, freshness.
Well, he was talking about the money that came from one of his several spending packages, of course, the Inflation Reduction Act, that did not reduce inflation at all. Look, on President Biden's watch, there's $7 trillion in spending, but I could say the same thing for the House Republicans. It's also on your watch, right? The Senate expected to pass this $95 billion foreign aid package today. It's going to provide money for Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, Taiwan. And, you know, you passed it in the House. The Senate also considered the TikTok crackdown bill this week. TikTok is attacking that bill, accusing the House of using foreign aid to jam through a bill that would trample the free speech rights of 170 million Americans. Congressman, what are your thoughts about another spending package, Nancy Pelosi's budget, no security at the border? The bill heads to the Senate today.
You're absolutely correct. I can't deny the fact that we as Republicans are as bad at spending as Democrats are. And we've got to get our fiscal house in order in Washington, D.C. I serve on the Budget Committee, as you know. And look, we are making efforts to do just that. But it's going to be some hard choices we have to make in order to do this. Now, we sent the Senate a bill to send aid to Israel months ago that was offset, that they should have passed in. It's still sitting over there. Now, just this weekend, we passed another bill to aid Israel. And we need to do that. Israel, I stand with Israel, and we've got to make sure that we are protecting Israel and their right to exist. We've got to make sure that Putin is not successful in Ukraine. We all understand that, but we've got to be fiscally responsible. I do want to thank former President Trump for suggesting that we make part of this a loan to Ukraine. That's a good thing, and I think that helped us to get this passed.
What do you think about the Senate then in terms of passing this? Do you think this, I mean, this is now just one gigantic bill, whereas in the House, it was 4 separate bills that you all voted on?
Right. We merged them together when we sent them over there, and I certainly hope that the Senate will do this. Look, we understand we're the leaders of democracy in the world, and we've got to make sure that Putin is not successful, as I say. But we've also got to make sure that we're fiscally responsible. Now, the 21st Century Security through our Protection Through Security Act, that had some good things in it. Doing away with TikTok, which we need to do. And keep in mind now, when that bill came out of the Energy and Commerce Committee, after we heard from the CIA, the FBI, and the Department of Justice, it was unanimous that TikTok needs to be done away with. The Repo Act that will help us to get some of the frozen Russian assets, that'll be good too.
Well, that's one way to get this TikTok bill through the Senate, jam it in with the other 3 bills, right? Because otherwise it would have died in the Senate probably on the TikTok bill.
We've got some Senate members who are in favor of it, and I'm glad to see that, because I tell you, they are brainwashing our children.
Congressman, I got to move on to these anti-Israel protests erupting on college campuses across the country. It's absolutely disgusting. In New York City, Columbia University stopping one of its professors from entering the campus to lead a pro-Israel rally. He was trying to counterbalance. They claimed it's because the school cannot ensure his safety. Then you've got donors saying, I'm done. Patriots owner Robert Kraft says he's stopping all donations to his alma mater, Columbia, over the anti-Semitism on campus, Congressman. What can you as an elected official do about this anti-Semitism raging across our country again? This is disgusting.
It is disgusting. We need to send a strong message to these colleges and universities that they must protect our Jewish students. They must protect our students, and we cannot and we will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our college campuses. Now, look, they get funding from the federal government, as you well know. And if you want to continue to get that funding, you sure as better make sure you're protecting our students, all students, whether it be Jewish or whatever. We stand with Israel in the United States, and in House Republicans stand with our Jewish students as well.
Yeah, what a complete shame to look at these pictures in America. Who would have thought we would be dealing with this again in America after 1942? Congressman, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We'll be watching your work, of course. Good to see you, sir. Buddy Carter joining us this morning.